Welcome to Golden Chat, where we provide straight talk. Each week, we deliver great insights on senior living, assisted living, and independent living. And we want to help you not only with your living situation, with your finances as well. So, how to invest better or how to invest as well. So, you will hear in this topic both about your living and about your finances as well. I'm your host, Stella, with your co host, Lana and Pedro.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And the reason why I said that in the beginning is because we receive a call from a caller, which is both an investor and as well a concerned son about his mother. His name is Matthew, and Matthew is asking us really, he's concerned about his mother, but he wants to know for himself as well. And the question that he keep hearing in the news about grouping with 10 people or less, 10 people or less. So he wants to know whether a facility with 10 or less residents, it's a better fit for loved ones in general, and as well investing in those, whether that would be a good move for him moving forward. So he has really two questions in one, if I can say. So we're going to try to address both
Okay.
from the resident point of view and from the investor's point of view as well.
I know that on aspects, so I'll take a shot at the business piece for once, right? So on the business side, I'm going to say, hey, that's going to be a large injection of cash to do something that's larger than 10. And then what I've learned at late is the zoning and the business aspects of the building are going to be quite unique. So when looking at doing something the first time, it might be a little more advantageous to look at something under 10. We've heard a lot of information from the media on social distancing, gatherings need to be under 10. That tends to be the big, the magical number that we're hearing: under 10, under 10, under 10, under 10, right? So with that being said, it appears that that could be a new baseline safe number in the aspects of how individuals should probably get together. I do know that when looking for a residential property can accommodate up to 10 individuals in a 5-bedroom, 6-bedroom home with, some revisions. So that might be a little more advantageous. It's all going to depend on the type of investor that you are, Matthew.
And of course, there's pros and cons to anything. I think Pedro has a really good point. If you're a first time investor, staying under the number 10 is an easier business to manage. So there's a positive in that. Also, when we look at the COVID-19 pandemic now, staying safe is so very important. So the one thing that I have come to realize is that, having a smaller facility, you're able to control that environment a little bit better than, let's say, if you were a 100-bed facility. Not that, they're getting any better treatment or not, but I just know from a personal level, it's been easier to maintain that infection control. To get those residents outdoors, disinfect that facility, get them back in, and taking control of that environment, like I said, is just a little easier than if you have a 50 or 100-bed facility. So those are, two pros, I would say. The fact that it's a little bit more manageable, and the fact as a first-time investor too, you're able to handle that first business and control that business and get that business filled with residents quicker than opposed, again, if it's 100 beds, you're filling an occupancy of 10 versus 100. So I would say those are very good positive points when you're looking at, the smaller facilities.
And to piggyback on that, the aspects of staff ratio. So when you're looking at, hiring or contracting staff, you're going to need less staff under 10 than in a larger location. So again, it comes back into the aspects of what's a little easier to manage. those numbers are going to be quite unique. So a 10 bed facility, you're probably going to need at least 3 individuals. 150 bed individual, you're going to need 1 staff per 5 residents. So that's kind of where you're at. So it's important to take that into consideration when making your determination.
Mm-hmm.
So now the question becomes, Lana, you said in terms of care, they may receive the same care. Would that be something more that would more attractive about for residents about moving to a 10-bed facility as opposed to a 100-bed facility?
There's actually a very big difference, and I like to kind of make this analogy. You have a public school, and that teacher has 35 students, and now you have a smaller magnet school or charter school, and that teacher has 10 students. So who do you think is going to get more attention? It's not anything to make anyone look right or wrong. It's just reality. So when you're able to keep your eyes on 10 residents versus 50 to 100, you're just getting a different level of care. Now, some people are always looking for different things. Maybe they want a lot more amenities versus a small facility. But when you're asking the question, I just like to look at it that way. It's easier to manage a smaller family than it is easier to manage a really large extended family. Not that we don't love doing both of them, and not that we can't. It's just a matter of how well can we do it, and we just have to be honest.
Yeah, and I like the question from Matthew. Thank you very much for your question. Is because he's concerned on both sides. He wants to know that as an investor, it's going to be a sound investment, but that as well there's a added value to the residents. So your answer is spot on. So what do you have to add, Pedro, on that?
Well, every once in a while I'm driving around, my eyes wander, and what I notice is there are sometimes a lot of commercial property that are for rent or for sale, and I see that. So on a residential model, if it doesn't rent on this side in the aspects of a business opportunity in independent or supportive or assisted living, it will always rent on the other side, which is residential, where so I look at it as it's a win-win. A single family can't rent a commercial property, so you have to definitely go in there with the commercial. So I'm not taking away from that, but my point really comes to that this residential opportunity is twofold. It's a business, if it's a facility, but it's still a home that can be rented and again sold if need be. So I'm assuming quicker. I'm not a realtor, but I can only assume that.
I think we
look at this as a win-win.
You're back.
We lost you for a minute.
Oh, did you? I'm sorry. I don't know if those things happen. I was talking too much. Talking too much.
You came back. Actually, that's my point. Yeah, go ahead, Anna.
Pedro made such a good point. Okay, we're both owners of small facilities, and at the end of the day, if we need to help relocate those residents because we now have to move or something comes up in our life, we can either sell as a business or we can help find them a safe place, and we can go back and sell that residential home or rent it. So to me, it is a win-win situation because you have multiple options, and I think you made a really good point.
Thank you. And just remember this, there's a lot of individuals turning 65 years old every single day, the baby boomers, right? And for the next 20 years, there's going to be a unique amount of individuals who are going to have and need some alternative living other than being independent. And that's a given. So under 10, that means that this house needs 10, this house needs 10. But at the end of the day, it's going to be, there's an opportunity there. And let's not, and let's look at that. And let's not forget that there's opportunity there.
There is indeed. And thank you very much, guys, for answering Matthew's question today. Matthew, there's another topic that we're going to address about the business itself in one of our next podcasts. So I invite you to stay tuned because you may have additional information from that podcast. But for today, we want to thank you all for listening, and we love to have you and chatting with you and give you our opinions, because that's what we do, giving our opinions and insights. And you can find more of our podcasts on our website, www.easierlivingforyou.com. And of course, we love your questions. So keep them coming, keep them going. Call us on 407-794-7277. And as well, email us. We receive both ways. So hello@easierlivingforyou.com. And we would love to see you next week at 12:45.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, take care.
Nice chatting.